Hi everyone! Welcome again to my channel, Math is Fun channel. Again, this channel is an educational channel to help you understand your lessons in mathematics. And aside from that, this channel is intended to those who are doing their online classes out there and also those who are answering their modules out there. Hi! This video discussion is very helpful to build your concept about your lessons in mathematics. And this is very exciting. Okay, so please do not forget to subscribe my channel and share this channel to your friends out there so that they will also enhance their performance in mathematics. So I hope you'll be able to subscribe and share my channels to your friends. Okay, so I hope you that is okay. Yeah, that is very nice advocacy in life. So now I will now share to you our video discussions for this time. Happy New Year, by the way. So let's start with this activity. Okay, let's try to have a discussion. I want you just to think about it about this one as you watch this video discussion. In here, you don't need to group yourself into two or three, but I want you to discuss and try to, of course, for a while. I was in already in the last part. It must be in the warm up. Sorry for the inconvenience. So warm up activity, measuring ourselves. So I guess you already have your an idea while opening this video discussion about our focus for today's lesson. So warm up activity, everybody wants warm up. So let's try to do the measuring ourselves activity. So you are going to, or using your own body, determine the following. How many hands tall are you? That's the first one. The second one, I want you to, using your body, determine how many finger widths tall is your head. So I want you to do it on your, as you watch this video discussion there in your house. So how many finger or determine how many finger widths is it from your elbow to the tip of your finger? So now, after doing these three things, I want you to compare your results with your neighbors. So you can just chat your classmates if you want through online or through messenger just to compare your results with your classmates. I hope you are doing this activity as you watch the video discussion. So now let's move on. It's very important for us to know the history behind the measurement before we go over with our lessons in or about measurement rather. So now here is a concise and abbreviated history of measurement. Just want to let you know about its history. So let's start with this first picture. As you can see, so this first picture shows a diagram of UPIC, Alaskan Native, or units of land. This is how they do their measurement before. In the this was found in Alaska, or the Alaska's native units of land. And here's another thing. A photo credit Savior de, I don't know how to say it. Okay, so this is a relief carving of ancient Greek measurement using hand, span, and foot. So again, Greek measurement are they were using hand span and foot during their time, or yeah, way back to the long time ago. So another thing also, a diagram of Egyptian definitions of cubit and palm. So I want you to be observant about the tool that they use. Do we consider it as a tool? I guess not a tool, but we can just have a conclusion after all that yeah, the ancient or the history of measurement way back long time ago, our ancestors used handspan and foot, same with, or in short, the body parts to measure things. Okay? So, as a conclusion again, units of measurement, these are units of measurement based on the human body. And this is how they used to measure, or Yeah, this is how they measure things during the ancient times. So I want you to take note of that, about the history. Another thing also to add this information about the history of measurement. We also have here the first picture shows the Harvard Bridge between Boston and Cambridge. MA, the Harvard Bridge is 364.4, as you can see on the screen. Smooth in length, plus or minus an ear. Another picture, as you can see on the screen in this video discussion, is about Oliver Smoot being used to measure the Harvard Bridge in 1958. So they're using the body part during their time as how they measure the Harvard Bridge, as you can see. So, units of measurement based on the human body in the Philippines. So, not only the other countries like Greece and other parts of the world were using body parts in the ancient times when they used to measure things. Also, or it can be, or it is evident also in our country, Philippines. Filipinos or Asian Filipinos they used rather their body to measure, or parts of their body to measure things. So the units of measurement, as I have said, used in the ancient times were chosen for convenience rather than accuracy. So I want you to take down note of that. Again, their main concern there in measurement before was about rather for convenience rather than accuracy. So again, the units of measurement used in ancient times were chosen for convenience rather than accuracy. So I will highlight the word. So historical records indicate that the first units of length were based on people's hands, feet rather, sorry, and arms. So the hand span, foot, and cubit, this one, appear in the earlier records of Babylonians and Egyptians. So this is very evident to the historical facts and figures about the measurement or history of measurements long time ago or during the ancient times. They used hand span, foot, and cubit. Okay? In short, they use their body parts for measurement. Our Filipino ancestors, as I have shared a while ago, on the other hand, use dangkal. Are you familiar with this in your lola? Dangkal, dipa, hakbang, talampakan, and dakot. So these are also parts of our body. So in short, in a conclusion, or as a conclusion rather, our Filipino ancestors used also um, their body parts in order to measure things during their ancient times. Again, the reason for their measurement, or what I mean is they used measurement for convenience rather than accuracy during the ancient times. So it's not a really exact or accurate their measurement. For that's only for their convenience. Another thing also that I want you to remember in here in the history of measurement, many of these non-standards, we call it non-standard units, the measurements used by the body parts, we call it non-standard units of measurement, or shall I say, many of these non-standard units of measure have now become standardized. Amazing, right? Again, there are non-standard units of measure that have now become standardized or accepted already in our times, but not all of them. So for instance, or for example, a hand which is used to measure horses is now equivalent to four I don't know, 4 inches. Sorry, it's not clear. Okay, so again, as I have said, for example, a hand which is used to measure horses is now equivalent to 4 inches. So a hand is equivalent to 4 inches. So please take down note of that. Another thing also is a foot. Please bear with my, because I just took a picture of this. So please just take down note when I mentioned the not clear words here on the screen. Foot. So a foot now means 12 inches. Again, a foot now means 12 inches. A yard which is used to mean the distance from the king's nose to the tip of the middle finger, from here to here. Okay, so of his outstretched arm is now equivalent to 3 feet or 36 inches. So I will be showing to you in the next slide about the example of these non-standard units that have become standardized now. Again, do not forget, a hand is equivalent to 4 inches. A foot now is equivalent to 12 inches. A yard now is equivalent to 3 feet or 36 inches. So these are the illustrations so that you can relate and you can imagine this one. So one hand is equivalent to 4 inches, as you can see there on the screen. So before we use hand, it's now standardized. From the non-standard, we use it in, or it becomes, or it became rather standardized, or part of the standard units of measurement. So one hand is equivalent to 4 inches. 1 foot for the non-standard is equivalent now to 12 inches for standard unit of measurement. For 1 yard, as I mentioned a while ago, that is equivalent to 36 inches or 3 feet. And of course, for kernels, is equivalent to 1 inch. And land an ox could plow in a day is equivalent to 4,840 square yards. So I want you to take the note of that. These are the non-standard units of measurement that are already standard unit of measurement in our current times. It's already accepted in the standard units of measurement. So that's it. So let's proceed to the next slide. So with trade and taxation came the need for standardized units. Again, because of trade and taxation, that's why it came the need for standardized units. Imagine when they trade long time ago without standardized units. Imagine there will be like, biases with the trade and taxation if they don't ha- if they didn't consider the standardized units of measurement. So as you can see there, the first picture, this one. So this is a standard weight of measuring gold dust used by the Asante of Ghana. So this is how they use it before. Another thing also that is used, yeah, the picture, another picture rather, to show the standardized units with the trade and taxation is this picture. This is a standardized weights from the Indus River Valley. Another picture shows a bronze ruler from the Han Dynasty in China. So, meaning to say, in short, as a conclusion here, we can realize that the ancient times used the standardized units of measurement because of the trade and taxation. They want to have an equal distribution without biases for the trade and taxation. Okay, so systems of measurement commonly used in the US. Again, take the note. Systems of measurement, I will highlight. Systems of measurement commonly used in the US. So the English or imperial system. So we call it English or imperial system, the systems of measurement commonly used in the US. So an example, as you can see in the picture, the early English inch was defined as the length of 3 barley corns laid end to end. As I have mentioned a while ago, the kernel of corn, which is equivalent to 1 inch. So again, the early English inch was defined as the length of 3 barley corns laid end to end. Another thing also that I want you to see is this picture. King George III of England's standard weights from 1773. Amazing. So these are some examples of the systems of measurement commonly used in the US, which is the English or imperial system. So next, let's proceed. Systems of measurement. Now this time we're going to talk about the systems of measurement commonly used in the US, or the metric, or we call it the metric system. A while ago, we had it, we have it rather, the English system. This time is the metric system. So these are example of the metric systems used before. As you can see, the first picture shows the commemorative stamp showing the French Republic measuring 1/4 of the Earth's circumference, the original idea behind the meter. So another thing also, as you can see, since 1983, the meter has been defined as the distance that light travels in 299792458 of a second. So I want you to take down note of that. These are examples of the systems of measurement commonly used in the US, which is the metric system. Okay, so I hope you can follow. So more about the metric system. So the systems of measurements commonly used in the US, more about the metric system, as I have said. We have it here. So you can see the Canadian standard kilogram. The kilogram is the only unit in the metric system defined by an actual object. So take the note of that. That is a trivia. A cube of water with sides each 1 centimeter has a mass of 1 gram, as you can see. Again, a cube of water with sides each 1 centimeter has a mass of 1 gram. Another thing also shows more about metric system is the nickel has a mass of 5 grams. So we use metric systems, or most of us are using metric system nowadays because it's more convenient and it's easy to use. It's more friendly compared to the English systems, but system of measurement rather. But there are also people or countries who are using the English system of measurement. That's why you have to be familiar of them all so that you will not be confused if you encounter them. So these are the references where I got my resources about the history of measurement. I will give you more of details or informations about the history of mathematics, because the history of mathematics is, or it was derived, or it can be also related, what I mean is the history of measurement can be also related to the history of mathematics. I will have a separate video discussions about it. So please continue to watch and study my video discussion. So now it's your turn to discuss, or your discussion. So instead of grouping yourselves into two or three, just do some research, do it by your own. Discuss the following questions. Why do we measure? That's the first thing that I want you to do. Why do we measure? Second, how do we choose what to use to measure? So think not only in general, but also in the context of your work in your program, in the SSP program could be, but in your daily life, in our day-to-day living, especially in the midst of pandemic. I want you to think about this one. This is part of your, shall I say, your performance for today. I want you to really think of it and try, and please do some research about this one. I will post these two questions in your Google Classroom. So I want you to visit your Google Classroom for regular math. Those who are my students from STE, those who are listening rather from the STE group. So please visit your Google Classroom and answer the two questions. So I hope to see, and I'm very excited to hear your responses. What I mean, your outputs. So see you in the next video discussion. So that's it. We will end our history of measurement in this topic, or in this line. So in our next topic, we will be talking about more of history of mathematics. So this time you can relate the history of measurement to the history of mathematics. So see you in the next video discussion. Have a great day, and please do not forget to do your task for today. Have a great day once again. Thank you for listening.